Welcome to the historic Tut building. For those of you that are familiar with the word Tut, the building was built in 1890 by Charles Tut, whose best friend was Spencer Penrose, who, if you know Southern Colorado history, they went on to build the Broadmoor Hotel, pretty much all of Southern Colorado and much of the state, and then left us with a great gift, the El Pomar Foundation, which to this day is one of the great privately held charitable organizations with a very large endowment. But Charles and Spencer came out to the West with about $2,000, thinking that, you know, their parents just said, go out, have fun, and then come back, and then you got to get to business, because they were a big Philadelphia business family. Well, they were rather smart too, went up to Crickle Creek and bought the COD mine, and shortly thereafter struck it, sold it, $250,000. They weren't going back to Philadelphia very soon. So they built this building in 1890, which was really the first round of great development in Pueblo, because at that time, after 1872, when William Palmer came in to build really the steel mill and the railroad, which eventually he wanted to take to Mexico, if you were an industrialist or an investor or anyone involved in steel and mining, you needed to have an office in Pueblo, and it was considered probably in the top 25 cities in the world. So during that first round of development, they didn't build sidewalks, and you may have heard of the term hollow sidewalks. And if you've ever heard that term, it's rare, but it's unique to Pueblo. And they didn't build sidewalks, but they did have some of the substructures built. And this building is rather unique. It's a flat iron. There's only 6 in the world that are actually both commercial and residential, because then merchants lived upstairs above their businesses. But because this is a triangle, there's not a lot of storage area. So they built some special storage areas, which you're going to see. But you'll see the full granite foundations that go underneath, beautiful arched brick ceilings. And then we had, in 1904 to about 1907, there was another round of development here in downtown, and that's when they put in the sidewalks. And they put in the Manitou red stone, that beautiful color, which you can see a lot of it on the facade, all the rosettes and the detail. But what made this really interesting was, of course, Prohibition. And during that period of time, Prohibition came to Pueblo 6 years before the nation went dry. So can you imagine a blue-collar steel mill, mining, and all those other industries not being able to get a drink? Well, the Dano family figured that out very quickly and started the whole bootleg industry with the Sugar Moon, Leadville Moon. Sugar Moon was from sugar beets. Leadville, the legend is that the Leadville miners used to take their overalls and kind of mix it in to give it kind of that gritty miner taste. Well, that's all legend, but in any case, the tunnels were very convenient because it gave them a way to actually move the actual bootleg. There's about 4 miles of underground tunnels in Pueblo that are part of this network. You can go to the state hospital, and those, of course, were built intentionally. But here you have a full network of tunnels. And actually in Mesa Junction, you'll find them going underground from house to house. So those were late night book reports or something with Betty across the street. We don't know the details about that. But in any case, this was downtown. This was actually ground zero. So Union Street actually met right here at Main. Now it's been diverted because of the Headwaters Fountain. But you came downtown for all of your financial transactions, so that's banks. You came downtown for, drinks and for fun. Those were all the bars. And then you came downtown for entertainment, and at that time, brothels were a big part of that. And of course, banks, brothels, and bars, oh my. That brings up a whole cultural thing. This was the red light district. This was the center for entertainment. So the tunnels became very effective, very convenient for not only moving bootleg, but also for if you were someone that was having dinner and you needed 30 minutes to go over and have some entertainment, you could just go under the street and up and come back and no one would even know. Now, I didn't believe this at first, but actually where I live upstairs, that's the original Union Medical Clinic. It was open 24 hours only for social diseases. You didn't have to have an appointment. So you could literally come downtown, have dinner, have a drink, entertainment, have a shot, literally, and be on your way and be ready for the next day. So the other thing that's fascinating about the speakeasies is during Prohibition, there was only one time when the federal government actually lifted the ban. Can anyone imagine when? It was Pueblo. Can anyone imagine when they might have lifted the ban? During the flood. After the flood in 1921, the federal government felt really bad that Pueblo was suffering. So they brought in barrels and barrels and barrels of whiskey. And for 30 days, we had a band, so a lift on the band. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go downstairs, and the groups are really large. So we'll kind of do single file all the way down. We do have a speakeasy set up, and then we'll go into another room. We have a very rare panorama photo of the steel mill from 1908. It's a high resolution image that we blew up, and it's so detailed you can actually see people sitting on their porches on the far right hand side. So take a look at that when you're waiting to go in the tunnels. We have them open just a little bit, but the lights go down further so you can kind of get a sense of what it was like. But they were actually made intentionally for this type of use, and they're still earthen floors. So, but it's amazing. The city doesn't want people to know that these actually exist because it opens up a lot of questions. Who actually owns them? Because they're not on many of the deeds. So what happens? And for safety and security reasons, there is some instability there. These are pretty sure. So, but in any case, just watch your head in particular. I hit it every single time, and I've lived here for 4 years. So.